Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Beyond the Class. I am Zahir. Today, I would like to talk with you about IELTS. IELTS is actually a test which is taken from the non-native speakers in order to check their proficiency in English. Non-native speakers, you can say that the people who live in those countries which are where English is not spoken as the first language. And the countries like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, India, China, where English is not spoken as a first language, rather spoken as second language or as a foreign language. The people who lived in these countries, they are called as non-native speakers. So if any non-native speaker of English want to go to these countries like America, Australia or Canada, then his English proficiency is checked through to the test IELTS. And IELTS stand for International English Language Testing System. This system is actually designed by the Cambridge a long time ago. As this test is designed by Cambridge and Cambridge is in England, that is why mostly you have to face in this test the British English, the British accent. Though this is not specific, any accent can be there in IELTS, Australian, Canadian, or even Indian, South African, Chinese, Japanese. Any English accent you can face in IELTS, but mostly it is in British. And in this test, you are given score in the form of bands. Remember, there are two types of scoring in these types of English proficiency tests. Number one is bands and number two is Sapphire. In Sapphire, we have different levels like A1, A2, B1, B2, and C1 and C2. A1 and A2 is the lower level, then B1 and B2 is the mediocre level, middle level, and C1 and C2 is the most proficient speakers of English. Similarly, in IELTS, the scoring is in the form of bands. These are from 1 to 9 according to the proficiency of the proficiency of the student. For example, if you get 9 bands, it means you are as efficient in English as a native speakers. And as the number of bands decreases, similarly, your proficiency level goes down. Different countries have different band requirements. Normal band requirements in these countries is 6 or 6.5 or 7. Normally, when you get these bands, you can easily migrate to these countries. Two types of tests are taken in IELTS. One is academic, second is general. In academic, you are test for getting admission in the countries like America, Japan, America, Australia, Canada, these types of countries where English is spoken as a first language. And for general IELTS test, in this test, if you want to go for business or other purposes, then you take general IELTS test. Both of the tests are having in IELTS are having general or academic having 4 modules. Likewise, every language have 4 skills. Similarly, English also has 4 skills: a reading skill, a writing skill, a speaking skill, and a listening skill. So you are checked in all these 4 skills, and every skill in IELTS is called as a module. There is a reading module, a writing module, a speaking module, and a listening module. And you are checked in all of your skills that how much you are proficient in reading, writing, speaking, and listening in English. And you are given score in the forms of bands. In every module, there is scoring system from 1 to 9 band, and then there is overall 1 to 9 bands also. And the requirement, for example, if you want to get admission in some university, then that university has a demand of in reading 7 bands, in writing 6 bands, in listening 7.5 band, and in speaking 8 bands, and overall they require the 8 bands. These two are the criteria given by the universities. And if you miss any of the criteria, for example, demand is 6 bands, but you get 5.5 bands, then you'll not be entertained by the university. You are simply rejected. So here you need to be very much strict. Now, the most important advice for the students who want to sit in IELTS is mostly the student start preparing IELTS test, but their English level is not according to their band requirement. For example, you want to get 7 bands, but your general English is less than the requirement of 10 bands. Your general English is low, its level is not high. So no matter how much you work hard in IELTS module preparation, you join different institution, good teachers, you practice very much hard, but at the end, what happens? You do not get the required bands. Now, the most important thing is to work on your general English also. If you have a band requirement of this, but your English level is below that, then you need to work very much hard and bring your general English level up to the level of your band requirement. When you make them equal, then you are supposed to get your required bands. Sometimes it happens that some of my students or some of my friends came to me who have been taking the IELTS test for many years. They prepare the test, sit in the exam, and do not get their required bands. They again do the same thing. They join academies, they work very much hard, but when they sit in the test, they do not get the required bands. So when I work with them, I find out that their English level is not so good. Generally their English is not up to the mark. So I work with them on their English. I try to make their reading skill, writing skill, speaking skill, listening skill better, and try to bring their level up to their required bands. For example, if you want to get 7 bands, it means your general English level should be very good. Then you are supposed to get that. So my most important advice is that work on your general English. Try to improve your all of these 4 skills, bring them according to your required band, and then you are supposed to get your bands. Hope all this information is beneficial for the person for the IELTS. For this type of information and getting some tips about speaking English, subscribe my channel, like this video, and best of luck. Thank you very much.